Second question is how you experienced this.
I think the experience is very familiar, even to me personally, because we live in a world where um, the cost of living is a lot higher now, and so I think it's undeniable statistically that people are having fewer children. People have people of my generation and younger have more jobs to in order to survive. uh, um, People who are in the same like sort of generations that are younger, like in the millennials, the Gen Zs, and the Gen Alphas who are just about starting to go to work, are experiencing all the difficulties of, for example, trying to secure a home, or maybe waiting much longer before they get married, and much longer before they get children and having fewer children. So, in our society, we see this happening very often. It is not a result of a change in attitude, because I feel that sometimes that attitude has changed because of the circumstances, the economic circumstances. So there are so many challenges now that sometimes older generations gaslight younger generations into thinking. So I do not feel that younger generations are lazy. I feel that they see bigger barriers in front of them, and those barriers are hard to get over. Those barriers, those challenges are very hard to uh, to to get over. And I think that sometimes when we look at the way the students are challenged, they require so much more motivation and so much more resilience compared to the other generations. So even though students try very hard, sometimes it seems as though they cannot achieve the same sort of goals that maybe their parents or their grandparents achieve for the same amount of work, or even sometimes a lot more work that they need to do. So I am sympathetic. I'm not saying that it is impossible to get over these challenges, but they are much. It takes much more effort, I think, in my part. That's what I'm trying to say, is that it takes a lot more effort in terms of students' mental capacities, mental health, physical health, um, and also um, it takes a lot of genuine um, creativity for them to be able to find ways to make up for the sort of difference that maybe their parents or their grandparents did not have in terms of like income generation, right? So you would see a lot of students say, "Oh, I'm working in a very large accounting firm, but I'm also a yoga instructor, and I'm also I have a YouTube page which is monetized." So how did someone in the past who was able to have a high-paying accounting job survive without another two jobs? But they could still buy a house, they could like start a family. But in this generation, we see that they have a full-time job, but they still have to, teach yoga in the weekend to get extra money, and then have a blog or a video blog on, YouTube or on Instagram or on TikTok just to get extra money. These are things that actually indicate that the young generations who are working now have a lot more. They need to apply much, much, much more effort in order to get over the challenges that they have. So I can sympathize, and I can see why some people will say, instead of trying to work really hard to get the same levels of same level of privileges and same level of comfort as our parents' generation, we now decide that we should lower it to a simpler way of life, so that I should have a smaller house, I should have one car instead of two cars, I should have one child instead of two children or three children, or I should not marry and I should live alone, because then I can take care of my health, I can take care of my mental health, and I would still be able to achieve the goals with less of a challenge compared to the generation before this. So I can understand why lying flat can be a viable option for people if they simplify their life and say, I don't want to buy too many clothes, or I don't want to, be involved with too many other activities. I already need this amount or this much, because I can live with this, but I can't be expected to own a large house, or I will maybe decide now that I only want to rent instead of buy a house, because it's not, feasible for me to own a house at my age. So these are things that I think are really, really, they're really real. They happen in our society, and I think a lot of people don't maybe understand how some of these situations are for younger generations.
Okay,
Okay.
the